The first thing actually I think is that I learned something really valuable and interesting, which is that we actually tend to prefer working on simple ideas. Right, actually having a simple idea is actually an advantage. Yes, we often see people when reading papers might write, for example, that their method is simple, yet effective. Yes, exactly. I think the correct way to put it should be simple and effective, because those should be our two goals. It's not contradictory at all. In fact, being able to achieve both at the same time is our ultimate goal. Yes, because if you look at all the influential things throughout history, or the technologies that have truly stood the test of time, they are actually very simple. Only simple things can really endure. Yes, exactly. In the past, when people did QA, they would always be tinkering with all sorts of things, like adding all kinds of jumper wires or building extremely complex architectures. But I actually think these things aren't really essential because they're just too complicated and their motivation might not even be that strong. There are some rather strange motivations, so I think I really learned an important lesson. Simple things are very important, and in fact, simplicity is an advantage. There's no need to deliberately make things complicated in a paper. Yes, just keep it simple. Simplicity itself is an advantage. And then I think maybe the second point is, maybe what I learned is how to define a relatively high level or long-term research agenda, and then plan it out, break down the problem, and basically at every step, every year, I know exactly which specific problem I need to solve within that bigger picture. I think in this area, I actually learned a lot from Jason Weston. For example, his whole team, starting from several years ago, set out to tackle the problem of dialogue. He would break down the dialogue problem into many sub-problems. Then they might focus on solving one part of it, tackling a different part each year. In the end, when all the pieces come together, it forms a pretty good system. So I think this kind of approach, this long-term mindset, is also very important. It's not about, say, trying my luck by dabbling in this idea or that idea, but rather about building something systematic and then carrying out research in a planned way. Of course, along the way, there might be a lot of new inspirations, but these inspirations are actually byproducts that come about precisely because I have a very clear long-term goal in mind as I work on this plan. Yes, exactly. Yes, and also there's another interesting point. I used to think that all the good work had already been done. There were no more opportunities. When I first started working in NLP, there were already word embeddings, memory networks, attention mechanisms. Everything was already there. If you looked at it at that time, it seemed like there was nothing left to do. But what you didn't know was that the real excitement was just beginning, right? And in 2017, the transformer came out, and in 2018, all kinds of pre-training methods started to emerge, right? And then this year, there's GPT-3. I think what you realize is that actually, the best things are still yet to come. This is something that Goka taught me. He started earlier than I did. At that time, he was my mentor at Google. When he first started, he looked around and thought, hey, we've already got AlexNet, all kinds of LSTMs have been invented, and we have embeddings too. Is there nothing left to do? He was at zero even earlier than I was, maybe around 2011 or so. Actually, people in every era might think this way. Even now, we wonder what else can be done after GPT. So when we were discussing this in the meeting just now, he realized that there are still many problems that can be solved. And that people bring up a lot of sharp and challenging issues. These are problems that are very difficult to solve with pre-training. So I think in this area, actually, this is the third very useful point I've learned. The best things are always yet to come. So never think that everything is already done and there's nothing left to do.